Hi, everyone. It's Reverend Laurie for our Wednesday Love Notes, and we're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to lead you through a little meditative process of creation, which is what I like to do whenever I'm faced with a challenge or I'm so in the left side of my brain where worry and fear and all the stuff of the world resides that I need to break free from that and get into the right side of my brain where we have access to that divine flow, where we go when we meditate or walk the labyrinth. It is where we are able to feel the presence of spirit without the earthly demands getting in the way. It is the Mary side of the brain when Martha becomes too loud and too important. So I like to escape into art. I'm an artist and I put my brushes down for many, many years because, well, life just carried on. But when I was faced with some really difficult challenges, I returned to my art because I knew that it would ground me and I would see things and see my way through that I would not normally see given the circumstances and being under the waves instead of atop them where I can get a different perspective. You see, artists look at things differently in the world, and we are all artists. Some of us just know that and continue to work on that and use that as a powerful spiritual tool, and others don't realize that they are an artist. But I tell people in my art classes that say to me, I can't draw a straight line. I say, thank goodness there is no straight line in nature. Everything has its waves. But this is a wonderful way to get grounded and to have that spiritual guidance and strength to help you see your next space in your journey on this planet Earth. Whatever you're dealing with, let's say you're in the middle of a global pandemic that has forced you inside and to rethink the way you do things. Or let's say you're entering a new phase of your life, a new chapter, and you're not quite sure where to go from here. Perhaps you've gone through a dramatic challenge that has shifted your whole foundation and you just can't seem to get guidance or help. Art can help you, and whatever form that takes. I happen to like to paint and do pottery, but everybody has their own way of expressing that artist within them and accessing their divine creativity. But artists see the world in a different way. So I encourage my students when they first begin class one to start looking at the way they're looking at things differently, because once you start working with colors in a 1, 2, and 3 dimensional form, you start seeing things different in the world. It's profound. And an artist will look at a tree differently than someone who does not study art and create art all the time. A person that's not engaged in the right side of the brain will see a tree, and if you ask them to draw that tree, they may put a brown trunk and some green leaves. An artist will look at a tree and begin creating her palette. And on that palette will be all of the colors of the spectrum, because there is not one green or one brown on that tree. There is probably every color in the prism, every hue, every shade, every highlight, every subtle, every bright in that tree. And once you begin playing with color and playing with form, you start seeing things differently. And from that, what's happened in my experience, I begin to appreciate things in a new way because I'm given a different view. I'm not seeing necessarily what looks to be right in front of me. I'm seeing other things of what has become and what's becoming. Do you know what I mean? So I'd like to take you into briefly the world of art in just a fun little exercise, because this type of an exercise helps me to see things differently. As we're reimagining how we're going to be doing church, how we're going to be doing community, how we're going to be doing business, having these spiritual tools is very helpful to stay grounded and look from a higher view what potentialities there are and exist out there that we can function from. So I want to teach you today just a few simple, basic techniques to help you start to let go of the left brain and the worry and the fear and the I have to do this, I got to do that. Well, that's the only way it's going to work. And that hasn't, we've done that in the past. We're going to put all that aside for now. We're going to open to what is becoming as I look at and help create something from nothing. You see what is a simple, clear canvas already has a design in mind. I tell my students, the picture will paint itself. Well, we can have a guide, and we do. We paint things. We go along with each other. I'll paint, they'll paint, we'll paint, and create something. They're all different, but somewhat similar. But this is a way to simply let the picture become what it wants to become. And like you would maybe walk a labyrinth, if you have a question on your heart, ask it to explain itself and answer itself on the canvas. The way I like to start my students is with a monochrome painting, which is simply a one color with different shades of that color. Today I'm just going to use purple because that's what's been coming to me is purple. And purple's a fun color. It can be very fragile and demure, like a violet or lilac petal, or it can be mega power, like crushed velvet purple, power purple, royal purple. And then all of the shades in between, from the palest, palest lavender to the deepest royal purple. Think of all the shades in between. So I'm just going to get started and let you guys kind of follow along. I've got a basic acrylic. I like oil painting, but that's hard to teach and it's not very portable. And it's kind of hard for students to learn from. So I encourage you to just go get a simple set of acrylics. You can buy a whole little box of them at Walmart with some basic brushes. Don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about perspective. Don't worry about coordinating colors and complementary colors and the color scale. Don't worry about any of that now. Just decide on a color that comes to you in meditation, whatever that may be. That right brain is active and at work and bringing you ideas. I'm just going to take the darkest of this purple, deep purple. I'm just going to start creating, put a little dabs. Little dab will do you. Just a little purple on my canvas. And then to make the different shades, I'm just going to use black. I never use black alone on a painting that I'm doing a landscape of, anything, or a seascape, because everything in nature, there is nothing that is totally black in nature. That's a lesson all on its own, right? Except something that has been burned or charred. Isn't that great? There's no natural black in nature. It looks black, but if you look closer, there's different colors. A lot of color, a density of color in that. So this black is just going to serve, I'm just going to dot it here and there where I want the deepest purple as just a complement. And the way to get the other side of the shading of the deep purple is to lighten it. Look white. Simple, easy peasy. It's nice that I can video this because then you can stop it, you can go get your paints, and you can try this in every color of the rainbow. You can do this in orange, pink, blue, green, whatever. The picture's going to paint itself, maybe. We'll see. We don't care about results. It's about getting out of that side of the brain and letting something new pop up. So then I'm just going to put in some white here and there and there and here. For now, I'm going to use just a medium-sized brush, nothing fancy. This came in a pack of a bunch of them. It peels and does all this, does the trick. I'm going to use just a little bit of water to act as a medium. I'm just going to start blending. I'm just going to, I never draw smooth or paint smooth. I always do little X's. I'm going to turn so you can see. Just doing little X's, bringing in some of the white just to get some color down. And you can see already that I'm getting some good movement here with my colors. Just going to let it start blending. I may smooth it out later, but for now, not so much. I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off. I'm not going to clean it completely, but I am going to get a lot of it off because I'm going to go into my dark now, and I don't want it to be too diluted because I want to keep it dark. But I'm just doing a background, just kind of doing the edges. Then I'm going to step back and take a look at it and see, what do you want to become? Dark, dark, dark. I'll lighten that up a little bit. Pull in some more purple. Ooh, now we're getting kind of a nice little grayish. I'm just going to pull that in. Then I'm going to clean. I'm just going to do a little blending. Already, my lungs are expanding. Already, I'm beginning to breathe a little easier. Isn't that amazing? Just dotting a few colors around on a canvas. If you ever do this with children and you watch their natural freedom, because they don't care what they create. They don't even care if it looks like a tree, if that's what they're even doing. And oftentimes they will do something and I'll ask my grandchildren, what are you creating? And they'll look at it and they'll say, oh, well, that's a lake. And I'll say, well, yes, it is. Because watching children gives you that wonderful sense of freedom that we often miss in our adultness. Okay, so I'm creating a little bit of a sky. Just starting. You can see some clouds. We may put in a sun or a moon. I'm going to add a little more color, a little more purple, a little more of my basic color down to the center. I think I'm going to leave the center of that really light. Maybe that it's just the beginning of a brand new day. And this is all you're going to do. It's just an escape. If you're a poet, just do a little prayer, a little meditation, open that other side of your brain, ask those questions to Divine Spirit, and then allow her to show up and watch the words flow. Once you get out of that side of the brain, it's amazing, truly amazing. Again, now I'm just going in the center of my picture with the very, very light, just continuing this out. This is just going to give me a little bit of depth and texture and movement, and it will tell me if it wants to go evening. Artists feel their way through things. It's a visual feel. Do you know what that means? For those of you who paint, especially those who do this for a living, you know what I'm talking about. It's a visual feel because it's visceral. You will get a feeling. Sometimes from a color. You'll be walking around outdoors and you'll see something that just really hits your inner palette. And it's like, I got to get that on my palette and on a canvas of some sort. So get yourself some canvases, whatever that is, a big board, these cheap little Walmart, again, canvases, big slabs of wood that are nice and smooth, anything. I love silk painting, which is very freeing. I was getting really tight in my painting when I first returned to it. I mean, like, because it was not coming out at all like I wanted, but I was trying to control it. I wanted it to do what I wanted it to do. So one of my instructors, one of my favorite mentors, said, you need to loosen up. Try some Japanese water painting, which is maddening because I had absolutely no control. The brush does all the work. The color just goes where it wants. And that led to silk painting, which is even more maddening because it's like grape juice on a tablecloth. But you have these wonderful wax resists that you draw on in the design, and then you put the fabric dye in, and it creates these magical, magical scarves. We'll do some of those too. But for now, I'm just getting this wonderful background. I'm going to pull in a little more purple. See how this is coming in? Can you see all the things this can, I can see a seascape in there, can you? With the rocks over here and the water. I don't know what the center's going to be yet, but oh, how fun is this? Okay, I'm seeing. See how that's coming? I'm going to let it dry at this stage. We're going to finish this next week. I'm going to let that dry at this stage because it is at this point where I can step back, do a little meditation, take a walk. I got that color down that I kept feeling in my mind, that purple, all those shades of purple. And when I come back to it, it'll be a dry version of this. I don't know what it's going to be yet, and I don't care. I'm going to try some really fun things with it. We'll do this next week, just as part of our meditation. Let me know if you like this kind of spiritual tool working. I'm going to try some sponge work, some swabs, give a wonderful effect for flowers and little clouds, bushes, trees. Oh, we're going to have so much fun with this painting. I use very simple tools. I don't invest a lot of money, not anymore. I did in the beginning and it didn't make a difference. It's not the brush, it's the hand holding it. And it's the spirit that flows through the hand that makes it fabulous. I love these little scrapers, these little palette knives. They make wonderful clouds, beaches, splashes. They sound great. The kids love them. We're going to play with that next week too. But this is just a call to your inner child, your inner artist. You are an artist. You are an artist because you're connected to God. God is flowing through you right now, helping raise you above the challenging seas so that you can see new ways to do things, a new chapter in your ongoing life. If your life right now isn't completely joyous, exciting, wonderful, soothing, enlightening, abundant, and prosperous, then let's do some spiritual work, because that is what God sees for you. Contentment, peace, a realization that God is with you in everything you do. And as we access that flow, we begin to see more and more of our own majesty, of our own creativity, of our own way to solve and recover from everything. We've got this together. So I'm going to leave our time together with this encouragement. Go get those canvases and those simple tools so we can finish this work next week. I'm so excited. I'm going to start some classes at Unity of Ocala again. We were doing acrylic painting classes and glass painting and we're going to do some jewelry. But with the virus, we want to keep it very safe. So we're just going to have 5 or 6 of us at a time on the big long tables. We're going to do some meditate and create classes again. I'm going to start those up soon, so stay posted. But for now, get your tools. Meet me back here next Wednesday for Love Notes. Catch us on Sunday at Unity of Ocala Sanctuary, where we travel deeper into Babylon to see why the Israelites came out better from exile than they did going in. And I just want to leave you with a little scripture. It's from Psalms. I'm not sure what chapter and verse, but you'll recognize it. Thank you, God. May the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, my God, my source, my rock, my love. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous hump day. I love you. We'll see you Sunday. Bye-bye.